We offer customized, flexible nutritional counseling designed specifically for you. We work with diverse clientele of all different ages, different needs, and goals. Whether you are looking for fat loss, muscle gain, body composition shifts, improved health, performance, and endurance, we're here to help.
All right, Arnold Classic 2023 is in the books, and SAMSON DAUDA is our Arnold Classic 2023 champion, and I think it was well-deserved. Danny, you and I did the prejudging yesterday, and I had you on because I didn't watch the prejudging yesterday. I had Danny on. All I did was look at the pictures. But this time, I watched the whole thing from beginning to end. I even who's coming in? Let's see who's coming in. Who's coming in? This is
iPad.
Yeah, this is iPad. Who's coming in? Let's see who this is. It's Big Daddy Bo.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
I just made it to the room.
The perfect timing. Did you get to watch the show?
I've been gone all day.
Oh,
My niece had 2 softball games, then we took out to eat. And I'm talking about I literally just I ain't seen that. I seen some on Instagram. I was trying to watch it, but I couldn't watch nothing.
It was good.
Right. Yeah, it was a good show.
I texted Milos.
All right, so let's just go. Did you really? Good. Let's just go. For people that don't know, SAMSON won. SAMSON DAUDA won. Nick Walker came in second. Andrew Jack came in third. Big Ramy came in fourth. Sean Clarita came in fifth, and Akeem Williams came in sixth. So again, Danny. Why don't you take it? Tell me what you thought of SAMSON and why they took it from Nick. Why they gave Nick second and SAMSON first.
Well, I think like psychologically, humans kind of see things in pairs. And when you had the top 3 yesterday, which was Nick, SAMSON, and Andrew, Nick's kind of the odd man out. Right? So, he did have great conditioning. Andrew also had great conditioning, but Andrew looked a little slim compared to them. So I think with SAMSON, he had good conditioning, and tonight he came in tighter. And there wasn't a lot of ways for Andrew or Nick to improve. Like I said yesterday, they were both came in crazy yesterday. SAMSON didn't have a lot of oil. You couldn't really see how hard he was. Pulling a little bit more water, getting a little bit harder the next day. He had a way to improve, as Nick and Andrew didn't have much of a way to improve. Yeah. So he kind of closed the door, I think, tonight, and he was just the most complete.
Yeah, and I actually said that yesterday. What Milo says as coach, if he could just come in a little bit harder, a little bit leaner, then he takes it, and that's exactly what happened. SAMSON was just the most complete. His conditioning was good enough, even though it was probably the best we've ever seen from SAMSON. It was good, but his structure, his symmetry, his balance, he's just as big as the rest of the guys on stage as far as muscle on his frame, and he was able to take it. His legs too were dominant.
Yeah, quads look crazy.
His quad sweep is insane,
and it made Nick's look It made Nick's look funky, and. I looked at some of the comments, and it, they were saying, the fridge is going to win, which is, I don't take anybody don't take insult to that. I'm the fridge. So I have the fridge body. I like the fridge body. I like mass monsters, but
me too.
SAMSON just looked more streamlined, and so did Andrew, and that really exposed Nick, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Jay?
Well, I think when you have guys like SAMSON and Andrew jacked.
Keep talking. I'm just going to pull up some pics.
Yeah, when you have 2 guys like that you're standing next to that are a little more ideally structurally sound, it's tough. And don't get me wrong, Nick is a former champion, 3rd in the Olympia, but, when you stand next to guys like that, you can see the structural flaws that are, a little less apparent, with a different lineup. And this is something that could hinder him, in the future. But Samson, shit, dude, he was impressive. I saw pictures. I was actually at the event, but I had to get home, dude. So I drove home last night. I got home late last night. But people I was talking to that were there, you know, we all pretty much picked the top 5 in different order, except I had Bonac in there, anticipating him coming in great conditioning, which he didn't. But, you know, this is going to really catapult Samson into the future Olympia top spots now, you know, so great showing for him. Andrew Jack, there's room for improvement, and a little bit of improvement with him would go a long way. Nick, you know, dude, the guy's phenomenal. There's not much more he could do. So it's just a matter of who comes and who shows off the best of each day, you know, for the next showing for him. But I thought the top 3 was pretty spot on.
Yeah, I agree. Bo, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just looking at some of it just then, and, you know,
Fernando
top 3. What's that then?
Top 3 was
Fernando always has good pictures. Fernando.
Oh, let me go to Fernando. How do I let's see. Fernando. How do you spell it?
FERNANA NDO, and then I think it's underscore Arroyo underscore. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, you're right about that. It does always have good pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, all right. So these side shots, when you have these 3, Nick takes these side shots because he has such Mack truck density, you know.
Well, it covers the structural flaws from the front.
Right. Yes.
Again, from the rear, Nick's,
right.
You know,
oh yeah.
The side and rear shot. So it puts up that argument that it's really the front 3 or 4 shots. You have your front bicep, front lat spread, abs and thighs, and a most muscular. But, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 other shots, you know, your 2 side shots, and then the rear lat and rear double bicep.
Yeah.
Those are the ones he's dominating. But, you know, flip a coin, they went this way with the better shape and structure.
Yeah, which I agree.
Nick wins the rear shots and he wins the side shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the worst 2 bodybuilders Nick could ever stand next to. You know, take Samson out, Nick wins all day long, right? But it exposed Nick's structure, even in the quads. You could see Samson's quads and even Samson's calves. He at this point.
Oh, they look crazy.
Yeah, at this point, Samson's weak, and I'm saying this, I'm splitting hairs right now, right? At this point, Samson's weak points might be his conditioning. That's it. And I think that will come more with time, especially with Milos as his coach. So if he goes on to do the Olympia now, and he comes in 10% better than this, that's how he's going to have his hands full.
If I may, can you pull up one of Nick's front double bicep shots?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Well, here's one. There you go.
All right, so Nick definitely has a longer torso.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if I can find a better one.
There's one right there.
There.
Right there.
Right here. Okay.
Left, yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. There you go.
So Nick needs to stand a little taller. He seems like he's squatting down, or his thighs kind of dump off a little bit, which he's sitting on him a little too much. Where if he'd open his thighs up a little more, even leaning to elongate his lower half, it might make a little bit of a difference in the structural flaw that he's showing, because it makes him look squattier when he just hits it straight on and he's squatting down a little too much. As you can see, like Andrew's standing, like his thighs are up. He's got his torso is actually shorter and his legs are longer, where Nick has that long torso from his lower lats down to his waistline. Look at the length there.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Now he's got to keep that high because he's a little blocky in certain shots.
Right.
But what he also has to do, he's got to open up the legs to match the length he's elongating in his torso also. So he just needs to create a little more of an illusion, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And I think the fact that he's structurally unsound when he comes compared to Samson and Andrew Jack.
But just in those front shots.
Yeah, the only way he's going to change that is if not that he's going to change it drastically. I don't think it's possible to change it drastically, but to, like you said, to learn how to pose a little better, to present his package a little better. But other than that, I mean, even if he did, I still see Samson.
I think it's who he's standing against too. I mean,
yeah.
If it were, I mean,
Wait, what was that, Danny?
Let's say it were Hottie, Samson, and Nick. Then I could see the judges going, okay, Hottie's first, Nick's second, Samson's third. Because then it's little guys with crazy conditioning, little giant guys.
I see what you're saying.
Math monsters. Or even if Ramy was in there, I could see them going with Nick, then Samson, then Ramy. Just because then it would be two mass monsters and a shape guy. But it was two shape guys and Nick's the odd man out.
Right. Yeah, I could see that possibly happening. Yeah. So, but what do you think, man? Do you think, from looking at the pictures and from what we said, do you think Samson deserved it, or would you have given it to Nick?
No, I think he deserved it. I was looking at some more pictures also.
Yeah.
I think he deserved it, though. I don't think Nick really played his game. Because he looked a little downside from the Olympia. I think he should have just played his game, stuck with his, came out like the freak he always been.
Yeah.
And when you stand beside, you got to look what he also got on the stage. Come on now, you standing beside two tall guys who's got symmetry and condition, then you look what you got. You got to go. So I agree. I agree with the placing though. Samson deserved to win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you should present your strengths as strong as possible, especially when you're going up against two guys that basically are your weaknesses. That's his kryptonite.
The front double and the front relaxed are boom. Psychologically, boom. Those are the first poses the judges see.
Right.
Samson's are just fucking knockout.
Yeah.
I mean, knockout, those two poses.
Right.
So I mean, like, look at that front. I mean, his quads were, crazy.
Look at the waist. Look at his waist.
The waist,
yeah. He has the classic X frame. He is a better version of a Tony Freeman. He has the classic X frame bodybuilding, Arnold Classic, perfect physique winner, kind of that Arnold Classic likes to give the title to. Now, on the flip side, what I thought the problem was with Andrew Jacked, and again, I'm splitting hairs because it's Andrew Jacked, right? Is that he actually looked not as muscular compared to Nick and Samson. He looked a little stringy.
But we talked about that. We knew that.
Yeah.
To everyone, compared to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no question. He looked, because he came in so hard, because he came in harder here than he did in any other show he did. And I think he lost a little bit. But I'll tell you one thing, his ab and thigh shot.
Yeah.
That's
the best in the business.
Lights out. Like, nobody comes close to that shot.
Yeah, the quads.
So, I'm hoping that he's got a good crew, right? He's got Aceto and he's got Psycho Lewis. I'm hoping that he shuts it down this year, puts on that size, improves his hamstring and his back, and his, and his glutes or whatnot, whatever he's got to improve on his backside, and then comes back stronger, because I think with some improvement, he could be in the center circle next year. I think he could be number one next year at the Arnold. But what do I know? What do you think, Jay?
I agree. A guy like Andrew, when we said this in the prelim, discussion, that he just, depends how everybody else shows up, but he's like a better version of a Tony Freeman, like you said before. Mm-hmm. But he's a taller guy. When you put him next to guys who are more mass monsters, it kind of singles him out for, hey, look, you could put a few more pounds on that frame, fill it out a little more to truly be dominant, or dominate the pro rankings. But hey, he's graceful, dude. He had a great routine. I think he won the award, right, for
best poser. Yes,
posing award.
He won the award
too.
But I mean, that's a good sportsman. That's somebody who comes full circle with the sport. He puts everything into it, and he's young enough where he could definitely still put some muscle on and make better showings. But dude, this was a great showing for him. Yeah, there's nothing to be disappointed. He beat the number 3 guy. Well, he was right next to the guy who was number 3 in the Olympia. And we'll see what he's going to do the rest of the year. But his priority should be putting a little more, 5 to 8 more pounds, on him would go a long way. 10 even more, but he doesn't need much more to really dominate.
Yeah. No, exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. The back shots is where Nick beats them.
Nick wins the back shots.
Yeah, Nick wins the back shots, but it's so different. Like, here's the back shots. Here's the front shots.
If you notice, he's leaning back, which is shortening his torso on the rear shots.
Right.
So he looks perfect from a structural point of view from the rear. From the front, he's got to stretch it out because when he sits on it, he looks dumpier in the sides of the midsection.
Right.
So from the rear, he could cover that, but he's got to elongate his legs from the front spot. Maybe if he spread them out a little bit.
How are you going to do that?
To one side. Well, you could take a step. See how Andrew Jack is kind of leaning a little bit to one side.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If he would lean a little bit, I'm not going to do it, but if you'd lean a little bit and open it up that way, with a little bit of a lean, it would just elongate, those stems a little bit where they're not looking so compressed in the front double bicep and front lat spread pose.
Yeah, no, it's amazing because I've never seen anything quite like this. If you look at the top 3 from the back, Nick wrecks the other 2.
Nobody's beating Nick there. I mean, even
and from the front, the other 2 guys just dominate Nick completely.
See, Nick he also hit that front double on 2 different shots.
Yeah.
He'll hit one straight up, but then he'll crunch down too now.
Yeah.
That's right, to show his abs. Yeah.
But he's not doing anything different with his thighs. They're just standing there. Yeah. They're just in that straight on base pose. Even his most muscular. Look how long his torso, like his arms look like they're too long for his body there because he's short. He's squatting down too much in the thigh area.
Yeah.
Step them up, elongate them, and then maybe lean a little bit. But just
because you're right. You're right, because he loses. Normally, he crushes
even
people.
Akeem, look how Akeem's standing right there in the 6th spot.
Right. Yeah. Akeem. All right, we'll get to Akeem, but let's move on to Big Ramy. Let's see if I can find a decent picture of Big Ramy. But Big Ramy, again, has all the size in the world. But he just lacks the striations and separation from shoulder to chest. His legs are so big, and they're not as separated as the other guys.
He looks like you pumped him up with air.
They were pretty separated.
Yes.
They were
like
pretty
if you
separated.
would have pumped somebody up,
Danny, they was more separated.
I thought they were pretty separated.
But compared to Andrew and Samson?
Yeah, I thought they were pretty separated. They're just
okay.
I mean, I just think he's just imbalanced, It's kind of like Marcus Ruhl.
Okay, okay. I see what you're saying.
He's got the giant delts, but the arms don't quite match.
Then maybe it was his posing, because when he was hitting, like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a little partial, but when Andrew Jack hit his most muscular or hit his ab and thighs, and you see the separation and the striations in his quads, it's just like next level. And Ramy doesn't have that, right? I mean, and here you can tell this is the Olympia, so you can see his hold filled. What do you think? How do you think they fixed this, Danny? How do you think they fixed that?
They said stem cells. I don't know. I mean,
that would be the politically correct thing to say.
Well, hold on. That there is, whether he did that or not, I don't know, but there is some truth to that where it could help develop those cells.
Right. That's what they said. Yeah.
Temporarily, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to, over time see if that lasts, but it could temporarily fill the muscle out. If they don't hold, it could break up again. The cells could break up and deteriorate. You could have atrophy there again. It might just be a temporary solution.
I think it was some kind of filler, honestly. Only I don't know how stem cell works, but it was a limited time from the Olympia to the Arnold.
Yeah,
and it was
I can't imagine new cells getting created and
that, and it was even a shorter amount of time when he started stem cell to the Arnold Classic.
Well, stem cell inflames the area.
Oh, does it really?
So it causes inflammation in those cells that are there. So that's why I'm saying after it buffers down, it won't look as inflamed. The pockets might be more apparent, but it's like a temporary fix.
Let's see if I can find it.
It does bring inflammation to the area to help it heal.
Okay. His triceps is still a little weak. I don't know what happened. He's got some kind of atrophy with his triceps
and biceps.
And oh, that's a video. We don't want to see that. Here you go.
So you can see him. I don't know those other pictures. I don't think he was really flexing them.
Yeah. See what this is what I mean by not separate. See, when you look at Sean Clarita, well, I know Sean's a freak, but you could see the striations. You could see the separation, and here you could see it, but it's
more apparent from the back too. In his
really. Let's see if there's another picture. So look at that. I mean, we're gonna get to Clarita. The fact that he's holding his own against the big boys is fucking, that's amazing in and of itself. But I don't know. Paul, what do you think? What do you think about Big Ramy? And do you think that he's dead in the water, or do you think he's possibly can come back and have a better showing at the Olympia? What do you think?
One thing, so we know this bodybuilder, so I can't say he did in the water.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody said Jay Cutler could come back and win, but he did.
Yeah, you're right.
No, it's a lot of things in bodybuilding that people said wouldn't happen that don't happen. So I can't say that he can't win it. If that's the look that the judges want, then he can win.
Yeah.
No, I think they're just moving away from the whole mass monster kind of thing.
I think what's happening is I think you're getting a better quality bodybuilder coming up. I mean, with guys like Samson, Andrew Jack, Hunter, Derek, Nick, you're just getting better quality. I mean, think about it. Also, Ramy won the New York Pro 10 years ago.
Ramy looks like
I think he looked it better then, though.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, he did. Now it looks like he has a bunch of areas that are sight enhanced, that don't hold any type of line visibility.
Well, what do you think sight enhanced? I don't know if he has really any areas that are sight enhanced.
No?
His arms,
his shoulders, his arm, even his left arm there. That's why it looks like something's going on, because on our right side, his left arm looks a little smaller than the right side, where his arms used to be more dominant. And that's where that glaze is that's just over him all the time. It's the sight enhancement from oils and stuff that he's putting in certain areas, which is definitely why his thigh sweeps were so apparent for years. And that worked against him by having some sort of abscess or something going on in those pockets in his outer sweeps. But it looks like he's been sight enhanced for years, and now it's starting to take its toll.
Well, whatever he did with his quads, as far as whether it's stem cell or fillers, worked, because they're gone. But
they're not gone, and he still has that glaze over him.
He still had a little bit. You can see
there's oil pumping through his body.
Yeah.
Well, the metaform does that. It works pretty well.
Explain what metaform is, Danny.
It's hyaluronic acid. It's the same stuff the women put in their lips.
In their lips or their butts.
It's naturally occurring. No, they don't put it in their butts.
There is another filler that was it P something. Help me out.
PMMA.
PMMA. Explain what that is.
No, that's like a permanent one. It's you can't get rid of that. The metaform, your body naturally produces hyaluronic acid, and it's temporary. It's not like a permanent solution.
Because RX Muscle, they had King Kamali on, and he was basically saying he thinks the holes were filled with PMMA. PMMA, is that what it is?
Yeah, possibly.
And I don't know what the difference is, but
PMMA is permanent. You only do it once, and it's a solution, and it has these little beads in it that permanently.
Okay. But he was saying it's very expensive too, according to him.
Yeah, you go to Mexico and get it done, I think.
Oh, okay.
Rami, money is no object.
Well, that's why King Kamali said that it's expensive and he's got the money to do it, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I agree, and I can't seem to find a back shot of his. But I mean, when you look at his back, it's improved from the Olympia, but it's still there we go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
the
There
lower
we go.
body is just not.
It's still, yeah, you see his he still has, the lower lats, and the hamstrings and glutes tie-in isn't as dominant as it used to be. I
It's
just think
always been like that.
yeah, I just think honestly, man, I think guys like, this is my opinion. I think guys like Ramy, Bonac, I just think it's age. I think this is the cycle of an athlete, and you're doing the climb. You get to be number one, or you get to your peak in your career, and then you start declining. I think just the cycle of an athlete. He's been in the game for a long time, and when a guy has that much size, it's going to shorten your career span. Like, there's a reason why Kamalo Gardner is still competing at 52 and being competitive, because he's a smaller, more trimline bodybuilder. Where Ramy
Well, he's
is
had a very long career.
absolutely, he's been like 30 years or something.
No,
like
I'm
that.
talking about Ramy.
No, right. But Ramy, has been pro for what, like 12 years or so, give or take. And now you're starting to see some drawbacks. That's my opinion. I might be dead wrong, but I think the bigger bodybuilders, like a Ramy, usually.
We have our prime, and after that,
Right.
1 year you're going to be progressively worse.
Right.
You're moving forward. You don't get, we're not wine. The body, it's
Yeah.
the fastest in the world is not the fastest in the world 5 years later.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just the decline of your body.
But I think I agree 100%. I just think also the 330-pound off-season bodybuilders even have a shorter career span than the, like I said.
I don't know, maybe. But I don't know if size matters, because you're able to put that size on, and you're going to reach an age where you can't maintain it and dude,
right. And he's been big. He's also been big forever.
Well, even if he was a smaller guy, you still have that time frame where, dude, you get nerve damage, you get this, you get atrophy, stuff doesn't develop. It's just the cycle of man, dude.
Right, I agree.
Father time.
Now,
Rayman ain't 40 though, right?
What happened?
He ain't even 40 though.
Who?
Yeah,
Rayman.
Yeah, but there's guys that hit their prime earlier than others. There's guys that peaked as amateurs and did nothing as pros. There's guys that didn't do better until the middle of the pro careers.
They were crushing William for his shoulders. You see that?
Yeah. We're gonna get to it. We'll get to William. The next guy I want to talk about, which was so impressive to me, and I want Bo, because Bo always talks highly about Sean Clarita. I want Bo to tell me. To me, it was the fact that he came in fifth, and you could have argued him for fourth place because of his shape and conditioning, especially from the back. You could have clearly argued him for fourth place. Was Sean Clarita. This was so impressive that a guy is 5'2" and barely 200 pounds is holding his own with the biggest bodybuilders in the world at the Arnold Classic. Bo, what do you think?
Yeah, I seen his posing routine, and I seen this one right here. And for Sean to be standing next to Big Ramy, I weigh him by at least 120 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Listen, when I tell y'all it ain't no more complete bodybuilding on stage, no knock on the rest of the guys, Sean is the most complete guy on the stage, top to bottom.
100%. You couldn't be more accurate. If he was 5'7", he would be Mr. Olympia all day long.
If we talking about mass monsters and this and that, okay, if you're going by height-wise, Sean is a mass monster at his height.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just it's his height the only thing that's, holding him back. When I seen his posing routine, to me, like, I would have gave him a head of Ramy. That I ain't just saying it because he's 212, but when you look at him front to back, he looked better than Ramy.
Yeah, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he jumped in the booth with Fuad and Dennis, and I don't remember the girl's name, and he basically said, he called him Franco because he was short like Franco Columbu, and he said that he has no flaws. He literally has no flaws. It's just that, he's just a shorter, smaller bodybuilder. But this guy, Sean Clarita, is going to go down in bodybuilding history as the greatest bodybuilder under 200 pounds. Period.
Yeah, and I heard somebody say it wouldn't be good for business. How could you let him beat a Mr. Olympia champion?
Yeah.
Sean is a Mr. Olympia champion.
That's right.
So how can you not say he can't beat Big Ramy or beating up them guys?
Yeah, I agree, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, it is bodybuilding, and
it's bodybuilding.
Right.
It's muscle contest. That's
Yeah.
why I threw that point out. Like, if you go by his height, he really is the most muscular guy on stage.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. He's packed as much muscle as he possibly
How tall
could
is he?
on his 5'2". 5'2", yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And Jay, this is what I mean about
But you could do the math on that.
Yeah, right. This is what I mean about the striations in Ramy's chest and the separation from his shoulders to his chest.
There's no clear visibility of any type of separation going on there.
Right, but what you knew,
it's not from lack of muscle. He has muscle.
Right.
That's the stuff that bonds to the muscle, that flows through your system. It's harder to get off. You got to it's oils, it's fats. It puts a glaze that really restricts the visibility of the separation and the striations in each muscle, because it's not just, it's fucking everywhere. It's
absolutely. And when you look at
there's this
100%.
coating underneath.
Yes, absolutely.
How tall is Samson?
6 foot, 6'1", something like that.
Samson?
Yeah. Samson's I'd say about 6 foot.
Him and Andrew about the same.
Andrew's a little bit taller. And then you see here with Clarita actually exposes Ramy's conditioning, and you see the striations in his chest. You see the separation from shoulders. His shoulders are amazing. You see the separation in his legs, his abs. You can even see, his triceps here,
but John, everybody in the top 10 exposes Ramy's lack of definition.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
but
not
what I'm saying, why it's so impressive to me is that, like Bo says, Ramy outweighs him by 100 and something pounds. That's why, to me, Clarita was so impressive, because this is a 5'2".
Yeah, so
holding his own against.
So if Samson's 6 foot at 298 pounds, that would be 4 pounds per inch. Sean would be 3 pounds per inch.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's a bigger guy.
Yeah, right.
I mean
this is impressive.
I feel like at the end of the day, it is bodybuilding, and it does look a little out of place when you have a guy who's 5'1" with.
No, did I think he deserved to? No, I don't think he deserved. All I'm saying is that you can make an argument for him coming in fourth. That's it. But to me, I
just feel like Ramy's so
massive,
that it just kind of.
And clearly, that's why they gave it to him.
Ain't nobody going outside Ramy.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody on stage. It just ain't. You ain't seeing that unless Brent Warren come back.
Yeah. Right. yeah. All right. So now the other surprise of the night, which was Akeem Williams. I'm sorry, that's not Akeem Williams. That's fucking what's that? I think they had the same trunks on. That's why I saw green trunks. See if I can find Akeem. Where the hell is Akeem? Akeem, where are you, man? I don't see you. Where are you?
Yeah,
what? Oh, did they not even put him up there?
No, yeah.
There we go. Okay, there we go. This is good enough. Akeem looked good. He seemed to be carrying some kind of film of water in his upper body that he seemed to not be able to get rid of. But he just had more muscle and good enough conditioning, which he always has, just good enough conditioning. He definitely deserves sixth. But I think Akeem's career at this point in Akeem's career, he's got to make a decision. Is he just happy being in the mix, or is he going to put the pedal to the metal and try it? I mean, I don't know what his work ethic is. I'm not going to question his work ethic, but he's been just in the mix for so long that to me, you're either satisfied there or you're sick of it, right? I mean, when you're going up against the best in the world and you keep coming in 6th, 7th, 8th, right? A competitive person, and I'm not saying he's not competitive, I'm just saying there's two mindsets here. You either want to get better because you can't stand just being at that sticking point, or you're content.
Do you see him doing much better than 6th? I mean, hell, if it were me and it were my structure and I was getting 6th at the Arnold, I would be completely content. Because I don't see with his high lats.
So for somebody like Akeem, where he could be a few spots higher,
right?
But based upon his showing, where did he place at the Olympia?
I don't
way
remember.
Out.
Yeah, it was really
so
yeah.
And for him to so he was drastically better at this, but still not the best we could see him.
Right.
There's a better version of him out there that could be in one of those, first call out spots.
Right.
And again, dude, you could bring a horse to water. If he's not going after it now, then he's got to question what he wants his future to be.
Right.
But I think he could be a few spots higher.
Absolutely. It's just he has enough size to hold against Samson, to hold against Nick, to hold against Randy.
He's got it all together.
Yeah, he's got
from the back though. He's
from the back. He has high lat insertions.
High lat insertions.
Yes. But the only way you're gonna But if he comes in chiseled enough,
he looked pretty ripped. I mean, he looked like.
Let me see if I could find a back shot. I don't know if I could find a back shot.
He had the Christmas tree going.
Really?
He looked like he was in good shape. I
just always feel like we have not seen the best of Akeem. I'm always hoping
he's got that thick skin, man.
Yeah, I'm always hoping that maybe because he's from Jersey and he goes to the same gym, and I've met him several times and I've interviewed him. It's all I'm always hoping that he just fucking surpasses that spot that he's been at the sticking point for several 5-6 years now.
RX would probably have it.
Yeah, good point.
Because they like Akeem.
Yeah, well, Dave used to train him.
I know.
Yeah, I can't seem to fucking. All right, let me see if the RX has it. Let's see.
I'm looking.
Let me see. Here we go. Got it.
No. They don't.
No?
Mm-mm.
No, they got nothing. All right, well, and then we got to get to basically the disappointments of the evening, which is unfortunate for these guys.
I think we all picked the rest where they fell. I don't know if it's a disappointment,
Well, we could
talk to the real activity. I mean, how was Nick Trigili's broadcast of the show?
I don't.
Let's get into that.
Of who?
How'd he do? I didn't even hear him.
Nick Trigili's broadcast of who?
Yeah, didn't he broadcast the show?
He did, but maybe not the one I looked at. I don't know. The guys who were broadcasting that I heard was Fuad, Dennis James.
I thought they gave you options. Didn't they give you options to who?
No. Oh, did they? I don't know.
No.
He said for prejudging, he had some complications. Said it wasn't him. It was what's the company? Family, whatever it is.
Yeah, Fandom, some shit like that.
He said they had some complications about something, and he was telling them like it wasn't gonna work. So he said him and Phil couldn't see nothing or whatever.
No shit. So he didn't do it?
Yeah, last night. But I don't know if he did tonight though.
I didn't hear him tonight. Tonight I had what do you call it?
No, I didn't see him at all.
Yeah, really. I don't know. I don't know what goes on with that. But all right, so Yeah. Danny brought up something because the next guy in line was Bonac, and it's quite possible Bonac used some fillers in his shoulders.
No.
No, you don't think so?
Not a
So,
chance.
so why do they have
No. He
these
just
arrows?
shot his gear too soon.
Ah,
He probably put too much.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It's sight enhancement.
Let me see.
No, he put his gear in too soon.
He thinks
Well,
he
that's what
put.
we mean.
I
Sight injections. Forgive me.
no.
Here we go.
No,
Here's a
that's
good
just
shot.
gear.
Okay.
I've done them.
Um,
I have a
That's what I
photo of
mean.
me.
He's shooting in his shoulders too much. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Okay,
or
okay.
just too soon, too close to the competing. The shoulders, I always wait like maybe a little more than a week, and then the last place I'll put is like my upper glute.
Yeah, they're pointy.
Yeah, they'll get
Yeah.
pointy like that. I've had that happen to me in one of my
No.
very first shows.
Will they mark you down for that?
Probably.
They're not going to mark you up.
That's for sure.
Hey, look at that.
But
Yeah.
everyone
Bump 'em up a
sees
spot.
it. Everyone sees it and they go, "Oh, it's synthol."
But dude, to be honest,
I did.
the shoulders are the least of his concerns.
Yeah.
His legs look down.
He's just not putting it together anymore. So
Yeah.
I've had faith in him for the past 4 or 5 shows, and he keeps letting me down.
Yeah.
I'm throwing
Listen.
the towel on William.
Again,
You
I
know?
just think it's
Me
age.
too.
I think it's the cycle of an athlete. And look,
I-
this guy goes to the New York Pro or he goes to Boston or whatever, he wins, right? I mean, it's just when you're coming in, second.
Well, he's not
third
going
at
to
the-
Boston looking like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because those guys are, and when you're coming in second, third at the Olympia and you're a 2-time Arnold Classic champion, and then you have to drop down all the way to 6th at the Arnold, what's happening is all this new talent is knocking you out and you're not carrying the same quality as you used to. And I just think it's age. I think that's what's happening with him. I think that's what's happening with Ramy. I don't think that's the case with it. It quite possibly could be Akeem. I don't think that's the case. I think Akeem still has
You have to
a lot
remember,
left.
John Rogan won his first Olympia at 43 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. You could definitely, but Sean Roden was getting better and better every year. You know what I mean? Like
Not
every
his
year.
not his last. When he won the Olympia,
Yeah.
that wasn't the best Sean Roden.
Really? You don't think
He was better
really?
the year before. He just got Phil on a tough night.
Yeah.
Right.
He was
Okay.
better the year, but Phil was just really off that year. Sean had already, his arms weren't as big. He was downsized slightly. That was not the best Sean Roden that we saw when he won the Olympia. He was better a year before.
He
But
was
when you come,
235 at that show.
wow,
What?
was it really? Yeah, and 2 years prior to that, I think it was 2017 or 16. He had some kind of stomach bug. He had a stomach problem. He came in 5th. But what I mean by that is,
One year he took 3rd, dude. He could have won that year.
yes, yeah. What I mean by that is, generally speaking, Sean Roden was getting better and better and better. Where these guys like Bonac and Ramy, even Kamal, they hit their peak and now they're on their downside. Now they're getting worse and worse and worse. Where Roden, unfortunately, we weren't able to see that because he passed away. But I just think this is the lifespan of an athlete, man. That's what I think it is. Oh shit, yeah. There you go. There you go, Danny. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I mean, to be at that level and not know that kind of stuff, it's surprising to me. But like at that point, if it were me, I would be taking 27 gauge needle, 1/2-inch needles, and I'd be spreading 0.5 ml all over my body.
Right.
You don't jam 3 mils in, or 2 mils in a spot and go on stage 2 days later. I mean,
right.
You can even notice that on yourself in the gym. So it's pretty crazy that he hasn't learned that by now.
Yeah, and especially at this conditioning, you're gonna see it in this conditioning, right?
Yeah.
But
his glutes are peeled, and
yeah,
now that makes him look not so.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but so who? All right, after that, it's all like kind of like well, nobody really. Another guy who I think is in that sticking point and doesn't seem to want to get out of it is Justin. I don't know, maybe if he's tired, Justin Rodriguez. I don't know if his body is tired. He does compete a lot, but he always seems to come in, and with the exception of last year's Arnold and the Boston, but Arnold, it was only the prejudging. Remember the post, the finals, he kind of, I don't know what the hell he did, but he spilled over big time. He seems to come in and just, again, kind of be in that Akeem Williams stage where it's like, you know, you could be up a few spots here, you know, and it's just not happening. I don't know what the reason is. I know he didn't look streamlined. I know he looked a little bit soft. His midsection looked soft. I don't have a picture of him. Let me see if RX has one. I don't know. Let's see. I don't see. I don't see it. I don't see a picture of him. And no, that's really it. Yeah, I don't see a picture of him. Once I saw this pic a couple of days ago when this came out, I was like, oh, everybody's in trouble. Once I saw this, I was like, yeah, everybody's gonna have a problem tomorrow. And then Patrick and Kamal, they just look like they lost their legs.
Patrick was bigger in the upper body than he has been.
Yeah, his legs looked downsized too, man. It was not pretty. Let's see. I know we had a picture of him somewhere here. Where was he? There we go. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is when he was this is when, you know, he came in, and you could see the difference in his separation from his quads and his hams, his glutes, you know, even everything, his thighs, his shoulders. It just did not look soft. He looked soft, and his legs looked downsized, you know, which is kind of sad because I kind of like him. I mean, I've seen interviews and stuff. He seems like a good dude. I feel like,
yeah,
I don't know what happened, that it was another guy that was like, I was high on. He had that one Olympia where he came out and he was like spot on. I want to say it was 2020. And he was like spot on, and everybody was like, oh shit, this guy just needs a little bit more size. But then it just went the opposite way. And he's been quiet for a long time. He has not been competing.
well, he had an injury.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he tore his bicep. I don't want to say that for sure, but he had an injury.
It was something had to do with his legs.
Okay,
Is that
his
what-
legs.
Is that
Was
what
it
it
really
was?
his legs?
Yeah, it was.
Are
I
you sure?
think it was his Achilles or something. Yeah, because he couldn't turn his legs.
Oh, you're right. He tore his Achilles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that could be why his legs are downside. Sure. All right, I can see that. Yeah. Well, you know, maybe I
Dennis
don't
was
know.
saying that his legs look bigger.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just his upper body grew out. When your legs grow, but your upper body growing 2 times faster, that's the look that he had when I just seen him though.
Yeah, you know what? You might be right. It just makes the appearance of his legs being downsized. Yeah, absolutely. And Kamal, his legs were downsized, and from the behind, his back from the behind was great. His glutes were not striated though. I think
If you don't have legs by your mid-30s, you're not going to get legs.
yeah, that's rough. Though they're rough to grow, man. I mean, we've seen nobody had better work ethic than Johnny Jackson. That guy used to train till he was dead, and he had such a tough time growing legs, man. You know, so it's unfortunate, but yeah, you're right. It's not easy, you know, when that's your weak spot. When any other, you know, even if you have no calves, the judges seem to overlook that. Like Dexter never had calves, and he won Mr. Olympia. But when your quads are downsized and you can't catch up, it seems to be extremely difficult from any other body part. I've seen guys would pick up their backs, hamstrings, you know, triceps, shoulders. But when it comes to your quads, I don't know why it's so difficult, but it's really difficult for a lot of guys. What do you think, Jay?
I think genetically you have them or you don't, you know, and if you don't have them, you could build them. but they're never going to be. I mean, it's it's the largest muscle in your body, dude. It's not gonna if you're not born with it, it's never really going to be your best body part.
Mhm.
Johnny Jackson did as good as he could do with them, but he wasn't born with big legs. Could squat a ton, could handle more weight than probably almost anybody else I've known.
Yeah.
Under the bar, but he just didn't have the thickness or the quality legs of like a Ronnie or one of those guys. But
And they had a Mr. Olympia upper body too.
he did, and then you have some smaller areas that might be easier to develop. Calves are a tough area too, and Dexter's calves weren't horrible; they were average, but he was so good everywhere else. It wasn't like they stood out, Just kind of you kind of gracefully overlook them because they didn't detract, much from the rest of his body. Everything just kind of flowed nice.
Yeah.
But guys like that, like Justin, they have that quad look they have. It's a different look, and again, after a certain age, if you don't have them, like Danny said, you're never gonna have them. So this is a sport of genetics. Just like anything else. There's guys that have athletic ability, and there's guys that don't. There's guys that win on will and work ethic. And that'll get you so far, but you're not going to beat a guy who has that same work ethic, that has the genetic capabilities that are, you know what I mean? If you're balanced in everything, dude, that's a fucking tough task to beat.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Absolutely. But now to the best part is that the winner of the prejudging Arnold, or the pre-show Arnold that we did, is Danny. So I am going tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going to text everybody. So it was me, Jay, Bo, Carlos, and Factory, right? Yeah. But yeah, Nate wasn't there. And we are going to see what we are going to chip in and buy Danny.
A new ankle.
And at the next show might be the MD show.
I'll forfeit.
You have to show what we send you.
Oh,
so
great.
what we'll do is this is what we'll do. Tomorrow I'll text everybody because it's already 11 o'clock, and we'll vote. We'll figure out what we could do. I'll come up with a bunch of different things. We'll figure out what to do. Everybody Venmo me the money, and then I already have Danny's address because I sent him a shirt, and I will send him the gift.
It's gonna be like a bottle of Bumex or something. You guys gonna put it on fucking
a bottle of GHB.
I'll take it.
Well, we'll figure it out, man. Whatever it is, whatever we choose, you gotta show it. If it's something you gotta wear, you gotta wear it.
This is like a punishment now. All right, sounds good.
Right. It's a good thing for the winner, but we don't know what it's gonna be now.
Yeah, right. All right, fellas, thank you very much. Truly appreciate you coming on this late and spending this time with me and doing the breakdown. Always much appreciated. Much love, much respect. And I'll see you guys. Well, Danny, I'll see you on Monday for Anabolic Academy. And I'll see you guys Wednesday.
Thanks,
All right, boys. Good night.
All right,
Yes, sir. Good night.
Later.